So I logged into Etsy yesterday and I saw this. Not what you want to see on a Wednesday morning. As you can see, Etsy forced my shop into vacation mode overnight with these messages for who knows what reason. Now, this is what customers saw when they went on my shop page. All my listings taken off the marketplace. And this is what I saw on the back end in my shop manager. And notice that it talks about verifying my info, something about documents. No idea what that was about because I had not been asked to submit anything, no emails. Now, I say this takes 48 hours, but as you probably know, you can never really trust any time frame that Etsy gives you. And I did find out later that there have been people suspended for weeks or even months, fairly recently actually. All of them with this same 48-hour message, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. Now, I had not received any emails, alerts, or notices to verify documents anywhere, which I've already done that anyway for my shop. My passport is verified. I've entered my tax ID, both my home and my business address, and I've got a UK limited company. All that info was filled out. This shop is star seller, made thousands of sales, 4.9 star average reviews. What else? No late orders. No overdue balances, basically everything that you can think of, that wasn't it. So when I went into my shop manager and then the vacation mode tab, this is what I saw. We put your shop on pause to help you manage current orders. Doesn't make sense. All my orders were fulfilled on time. And we've temporarily paused your shop. During this time, buyers will see your shop on vacation mode. Now, this temporary suspension is actually very common, as you will see from all the community thread posts that I will show you. And this can happen to anyone. They will not tell you what the reason is, so it's on you to figure it out. Some people have had their shops suspended for weeks or even months. Luckily, I managed to fix this in a few hours, so I'll be going through exactly what I did in this video so you know what kind of options you have if this does happen to you. Now, despite this temporary suspension being a common issue, I haven't seen anyone talk about this specifically on YouTube yet. Most videos are, when they say suspension, they're referring to permanent suspension, so that is a separate matter. It can sometimes be caused by violating some policy, sometimes it just happens for no good reason. In that case, you would have to file an appeal through the seller support portal, and I'll link this page in the description as well. But a temporary suspension can also be a pretty hard hit for a small business, you know, losing a whole day or more of revenue, especially if it's your sole source of income or like other people depend on it. So I've got virtual assistants to pay as well as that. So I really had to sort this thing out ASAP, which thankfully I did, and I'll be explaining exactly how in this video. So in this video, we'll be going through what happens, so what functions you have access to while temporarily suspended, how I got unsuspended, how long it took, and what to expect regarding communication from their end. Some questions you will probably have for after the vacation mode is over, such as did it affect my sales after reinstatement, how I got my star seller badge back because they did remove that after the suspension. Just some possible reasons that this could happen for you to check that you're not doing, and how likely you are to get your account back, in my opinion, or can they just put you on hold forever? And finally, what to do if this happens to you, including how to get through on a telephone call to a human. It is possible, they just make it very difficult. I will be deleting comments advertising scam Etsy reinstatement services, but just a reminder that if any slip through, don't fall for these. Nobody can unsuspend your account except for Etsy themselves. Let's get started. So what happens when you get temporarily suspended? Your shop gets put on vacation mode and all your listings are removed from the marketplace. Now, if you had the chat bubble to contact support like I did, that will conveniently be gone as well, along with your star seller badge and any other customer service badges you've earned. Now, your payments of any balance that you have in your shop will also be put on hold. However, you can still message customers and fulfill your orders, and you can see all your orders and order history. Now, I have 2 Etsy shops. Unlike permanent suspension, which in most cases will result in all your shops being suspended at once because they are connected by IP address, my other shop was not affected at all. So how did I get this account unsuspended and how long did this take? So there were 3 things that I did. Firstly, I submitted a support ticket here. I will leave the link down in the description to where you can do this down below. I don't know how directly helpful this was. Some people say it's not that helpful, but it was something that I did do. Secondly, I called Etsy on the phone. Yes, I managed to get through to a human on the telephone support line. They make this very difficult for you to do. I have a direct link in my description for you to reach this page. I found it on Reddit. It's hard to find anywhere else. You can't really Google search it. At least of today, this is possible. So you enter your phone number in here, and they called me back in about just a minute. Now I have a feeling this may not be here forever, just to warn you, they are very short-staffed, but it's worth giving it a try as it did work for me. Now what here happened when I called them? So they did a lot of security checks, just details about my account, and then they informed me that it was something relating to them having to verify my address. Apparently that was why my account was temporarily suspended. That is very likely wrong. Reason being that I later did find out what the problem was, and it was not the address. I guess what was kind of helpful was that they submitted a support ticket on my behalf, another one, and it's possible that these get answered faster than regular support tickets and puts you higher on the radar. Because these are Etsy staff. So in any case, it's just nice to talk to a human and know that the case is being dealt with, even if they're not that helpful. And lastly, the most useful thing I did was look on the Etsy forums. Very helpful threads, which again, I will link these in the description of this video. So many people here gave different reasons, which I know did not apply to me, but the one that did was having an expired credit card on file. Now I had multiple credit cards in my account as backup, but just having this expired credit card existing on the record was enough to trigger this suspension. Now, this credit card expired in 2022. It is now 2024. Just goes to show that anything can come back to screw you over at a time that makes absolutely no sense. Now, if I had not discovered this community thread, I may never have gotten to the bottom of this and still be suspended for weeks like those other people. Anyway, I went to account information and then credit cards, removed that card. That happened at about 11 a.m. in the morning. And at 3:45 p.m., I got an email telling me that I had made a sale. So obviously, I was very excited. I knew that my account was restored. It took about 4 to 5 hours from the time that I removed the credit card to making another sale. Now, it's possible that I was unsuspended before that, but I mean, I wouldn't know. They never sent me an email. In fact, there was no email contact communication whatsoever throughout this whole process, despite them saying multiple times that they would email me with updates, so don't expect anything really. Now, I did make sales that day. I made 5 sales. I usually make about 10 to 15 sales a day because it's a slow time of year. So maybe my SEO's taken a bit of a hit from that, but I'm still getting a lot of favorites regularly, which is a good sign. It means people are still seeing my products at least, right? However, when I went home and logged into the account, I found that my star seller badge and all my customer service badges were gone, even though I did qualify. So it showed this message and it just links to a generic rules page. I'm glad to say that I did get my badges back, and the way I did that was using the chat bubble in the corner that I showed you. I did a survey a while back on my channel and 15 people voted. From this sample, it seems like most sellers don't have this. If you don't, then I'd recommend you either call them through the link below or submit a support ticket and just let them know that your customer service badges are gone because of this temporary suspension. Now, what can actually cause this temporary suspension? Now, keep in mind, whatever the cause is, Etsy gives everyone the same message. They don't tell you what it is, so this is all just speculation, but it has solved the problem for many people in a few hours, and as I said, relevant threads linked below, but I have seen 4 main things being discussed, which I'll talk about now. Firstly, in my case, it was likely the expired credit card on file just existing there. I'm pretty certain that fixed the problem, but I can't say I'm 100% sure because the person who called me did say it was something to do with my address. I didn't touch anything to do with my address in my account, so I don't think it was that. Just multiple variables at play here, but I think the number one thing to do is to check you do not have any expired credit cards existing on your account. Now, if you look through the forum linked below, this is the most common reason that I've seen. Other people have also had this issue and just fixed it quickly by removing the card. The next most common reason seems to be just missing documents. So the most common 2 that I've seen mentioned are an ID, so that's a valid passport or driver's license, or your tax information. So make sure to fill that out if you haven't and make sure everything's complete. Now, the next thing I've seen is not fulfilling orders on time. In that case, make sure to fulfill them and extend your processing time so they are not shipped late next time. and also make sure that your bills are paid. And sometimes we just don't know the reason, and you just gotta keep submitting support tickets until they finally do something about it. So will you get your account back? Well, I think it's pretty likely actually, because if you again reference the threads below and you look at the multiple people who have reported this problem, you can actually click on their profile and visit their shop. And most of their shops are still active. So I think it's mostly a problem of taking action to get unsuspended quickly and minimize your revenue lost, rather than being concerned that your shop will be permanently closed down as a result of this. That being said, obviously this is just a sample size, and I don't really know if that could have happened to anyone. So what can you do if this does happen to you? Well, as I said, I put all the links in the description. Firstly, you want to submit a support ticket, and secondly, you can request a call back to call the person. They will most likely just submit another support ticket on your behalf. And most importantly, you want to check through the 3 most common reasons that I've listed earlier in this video. Make sure you haven't done any of the things that I've mentioned. And obviously, if there are any issues that need fixing, then address them. Also take a look at the threads that I've linked below. Maybe you'll find some gems in there. If you're feeling a little uncertain about Etsy after this video, just being able to take away your account like that, then I totally get you, but unfortunately the only solution to this is diversification. So I will be releasing videos on alternative platforms to Etsy in the future. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell for those. Check out this video about permanent suspensions on Etsy on screen right now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.